his entry on simplicity. So he says that a person has to learn to accustom himself to be very, very simple. What does it mean to be very simple? Being simple is a very difficult concept to understand sometimes. But he says being simple means not to be chitre, and not to be two-faced, and not to think too complicated. Rather, to be simple, to be straight, to be honest, and to really just be straightforward thinking. Don't be thinking what if, and maybe, and so how, I don't know, or have ulterior motives, or being duro, right? Being two-faced. That's called not being simple. We know Yaakov Avinu got praised. He was ish tam, yoshev oanim. He was ish tam, means simple man sitting in the tents. You see, we have to be simple person. He says a lot of times a person, he can make himself suffer tremendously from this, that he's not being simple. For example, a lot of times we try to be sophisticated. To teach us in the world, you have to be sophisticated. You have to have certain accomplishments, and you have to look a certain way, and you have to live in a certain house, and you have to wear a certain type of brands, and you have to drive a certain type of car. All these things take away from our ability to be simple and just be happy with what we have, because a person can think, I have to be here, when really what you have also is good. There's a guy, I told you a long time ago, there's a guy who wears the same thing 2 days in a row. Why does he wear the same thing 2 days in a row? Because it's good for him. He says, I'm a simple guy. I don't need to do what everybody else does. Why should I kill myself for everybody else? So therefore, he says that a person has to teach himself to be happy with what he has, and that stems from being simple. He says also, with serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a lot of times people, Rabbi Natan says, a chidush, he says sometimes people get so caught up to do the mitzvah the right way, and they're so busy with all the stringencies, that he ended up doing, that he did the mitzvah without doing the mitzvah. He was so preoccupied with all the little details of the mitzvah, he forgot the essence of the mitzvah. He forgot to remember why we sitting. He was busy building the sukkah, making everything perfect in the sukkah. He sat in the sukkah, he's exhausted, he didn't even realize what was the mitzvah of sukkah. So therefore he says, sometimes you have to learn to catch yourself and not to be too complicated, and you have to be simple, and you have to realize that this, that you accomplish a little, it's also, if that's what Hashem wanted, that's what Hashem wanted. We a lot of times set the bar very high. Rabbi, I want the best, I want the best, I want the best. And then what happens? When we don't get the best, we fall apart, we get upset, we get depressed, and we don't realize that even if you didn't get the best, what you did is also what Hashem wanted. You know why that's what Hashem wanted? Because that's what happened. If that's not what Hashem wanted, He didn't want to let that happen. So the fact that's what happened, so you have to be happy with that as well. People all the time beat themselves up. Oh, but I didn't make this amount of money. Oh, but I didn't learn this amount of pages. Oh, I didn't finish this. Oh, I said the wrong word. The person has to be simple. Just continue. Don't think about the past. It doesn't make a difference. The person has just to pick himself up and realize that a person who's simple, Hashem says, Shomer Peta'im Hashem. King David writes in Sefer Tehillim, Hashem protects the simple-minded. What is that? We learn halacha from here. For example, the Gemara says that the Masechah Yevamot, that you shouldn't do Brit Milah on a cloudy day, right? So therefore the Gemara says, how do so many people do it? Why? It's not healthy, right? It's dangerous. So the Gemara says, Shomer Peta'im Hashem. Hashem protects the simple-minded. So you see, even though they don't know, Hashem protects them. So you see, being simple gets you this special siyata d'shmaya. Therefore he says, obviously it doesn't mean be a dupe. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you go and you let people take advantage of you. The Masechah Derech Eretz says, when you have a guest in your house, respect them, but suspect them. You have to make sure to take care of yourself. But at the end of the day, when the way you think and the way you approach the world should be in a simple manner, not too complicated, because a lot of times when you make yourself too complicated, then what? Then you end up doing more harm to yourself than good. I said to a guy who was in the stock market, he's very involved in the stock market, I said to him, why you look so tired? He says, I'm tossing and turning. I said, but the market's closed. What is there to think? No, but maybe, if, how, when, what. It doesn't help. It's tossing and turning. Even the stock market, you can't even do anything. You can't even do anything. You're tossing and turning. So therefore, a person has to realize that we have to leave it up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be simple, learn from Yaakov Avinu, and we have to realize the Torah, how the Jewish people accept the Torah, Na'aseh v'nishma. First we will do, and then we will hear. Not always you have to understand everything from the beginning. But first, we have to do, we have to continue, and then only afterwards